Welcome back to another CCTVCraft tutorial. Today what we're going to be looking at is the new blocks in CCTVCraft 5 and how to actually use all these blocks. So we're going to be starting with the monitor, and then in the next video we'll be looking at cameras and then some of the other components as well. There are a few different things that you're going to need in order to craft a monitor. So we'll start with the basics. You're going to need to craft up a display, and to craft a display you're going to need 3 nether quartz, 1 redstone dust, 2 glowstone dust, 2 iron nuggets, and 1 iron ingot, and you will place them in the order like so. Once you have the recipe like this, you should see a display pop up for the recipe. So to craft up the monitor finally, all you need is 3 iron nuggets, 1 display, 1 redstone dust, and 2 iron ingots, and then you are good to go. So place the items in the respective order like I had in my inventory, and it will craft up 1 white simple monitor, which can be dyed, it can be toggled, and it can connect to cameras. It requires a keyboard. So when you actually place down this block, it will not have any interactions. Right clicking on it will not do anything. We need a keyboard attached to the monitor first, and that's what we're going to craft up next. So the keyboard actually has a component that requires to be crafted beforehand, and in order to craft that up, what you need is 2 copper ingots, 1 redstone dust, 2 iron ingots, 1 nether quartz, 2 green dye, and 1 glass pane. After placing it in the correct order, what you'll get is a circuit board, which you can then craft up a keyboard with. So we'll craft that up, and then we're moving on to the keyboard itself. Once you have the circuit board, what you can do is you can craft up a few other items. You're going to need the 2 iron ingots, 1 stone button, 2 redstone dust, 1 circuit board, and 3 iron ingots to craft up this keyboard item. So once we put them in this particular order, we'll be able to craft up 1 keyboard, and once we have that, we can actually right click on the monitor itself, and it will add a little keyboard down here. So right clicking on the block now will turn on the monitor, and you can click on it again to open up the UI. There is a few different buttons here. We have the drive, which allows us to store USBs of some specific types into the drive itself and get data from it. We can close the window by the X, and then we also have the camera app. It allows us to store up to 4 cameras using the add camera and remove camera operators, and we can also toggle these cameras on and off using these switches, and the lights will indicate what the state of the camera is, if it's on or off. With that being said, you can also power off the computer through the shutdown, or if you want to leave it on, you can just close out using escape. If you shut down the computer, then it will be in the off state when you come to it again. You can also change the color by right clicking on the monitor either in the off or on state, and it will allow you to change the color of that monitor to a different state. It will also keep all the data that you had in the monitor, so you will be able to not need to replace the slots themselves for the cameras and other things. To link a camera to the monitor, all you need to do is make sure that you have the camera USB with the coordinates and data on from the camera, and then you can go to your drive app, place the camera USB into the drive. It will tell you what world it is in and the coordinates of that particular camera and the direction that is facing. The camera needs to be in the same dimension as the monitor in order to link up correctly. Once you've done that and it's in the drive, what you can do is you can go to the camera app, click on the add camera, and then click on the camera slot that you want to add it to while the action is highlighted. So you would click A, and then it will add it to A, and it will say the camera is off. So before it will say the camera is missing. So now you know the status of the thing. And you will also notice when you link up the camera that the camera will turn off by default. Going back to the camera app, you can go ahead and select the toggle switch to toggle the camera on remotely, or you can physically go to the camera and turn on or off the camera itself. And if you want to view the camera, make sure that no particular action is enabled, and then you can go ahead and click on that slot. This is slot A, slot B, slot C, and then slot D. Clicking on the camera will allow you to view the camera through the monitor. And you can also use your A and D keys to rotate around to check out what's going on with these cameras, at least for this particular model. And to exit out of the camera view, you can actually press Q by default, and it will bring you back to the monitor screen with the monitor app. You can have up to 4 cameras on this particular monitor itself. If you want to remove a camera, what you can do is you can click on the remove icon. You do not need the camera coordinates in the drive at all. You can actually just remove the camera itself. Just make sure it's selected and then click the slot that you want to remove. Once it's done like that, you cannot connect to the camera if you try to, so it will be gone. That's basically the monitors in a nutshell. We'll be covering the cameras in the next video, so definitely tune in for that. There's a whole bunch of different components and recipes for these. They work very similar to the monitor in that regard. We'll also be looking at the camera USB in the next video, so definitely tune in for that. Outside of that, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.